Okay, we live. I think we're live. Hang tight, hold tight, just a second. Let me pull this up. Beautiful. We're live. So, guys, there's a couple people that are on right now. Appreciate you being on first and foremost. If you could, before I get going, can you let me know if you can hear me? That would be super helpful. Give me a little bit of confidence before I just start ripping, and I'll at least know that somebody can hear me, and everybody else that's not on can watch the replay. But if you can let me know if you're on right now, let me know if you can hear me. Yes, please. That would be a huge help. And also I can see if you're on. So let's do that, and then let's get going, guys. I want to get through this. I've got an hour. Aaron, dude, I knew you'd be on. Appreciate you, bro. So looks like the audio is good. We got a few people on. Let's freaking go. I'm gonna go ahead and crack open the peach Bellini. Man, shout out to the old whatever this is. Tastes good. Not really sure. Hold on. Whoa. You guys have noticed I'm starting to phase out of the monsters and into some stuff with some lesser caffeine. So I'm feeling really good and solid about that. Okay. Let me pull my mic a little bit closer here so that y'all can see it. I'm going to pull up on my notes so I don't miss anything. And Alan said, by the way, Kurt, welcome. Maxwell, welcome. Aaron, I said welcome. Alan says not related to digital real estate, but what chair is that? Looks comfortable. This is an autonomous. If you look up the company Autonomous, they make standing desks and all the I don't know, I can't remember the word. The what's the word where it doesn't affect you? I'm losing it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's just slipped my mind. Anyway, that's this chair. It's nice. I didn't assemble it. I paid somebody else to assemble it. It's not my game, but it's been a nice chair. It's got some good lumbar support and ergonomic. That's the word. Just came to me. Boom. All right. You're all the caffeine I need. Thank you, my man. Assassin said, let's make some money. Pumping some gas, but gotta tune in. I love it. All right. Ergonomic. Dope. You guys, we all thought about it at the exact same time. All right, let's do this thing. I got a couple things I want to cover. I got a lot I want to talk about. I got a lot I want to say, and let's freaking do it. So guys, first and foremost, for those of you who it's your first time tuning in, welcome to Making Hay with Dre. And Dre stands for Digital Real Estate, DRE. Okay, my name is Nick Wood. I have been in this game for almost 7 years. Okay, almost 7 years. This will be my third year making $1 million+ doing this business model. So I am here. The whole point of this show is to show you guys all things digital real estate, the tips, the tricks, the sales strategies, the questions that you have about niches and about cities and about how to contact a business owner and about how the recession is going to affect it, and about how to invest your money with the money you make from digital real estate. All things digital real estate we're going to cover here. And this is our 6th episode. I do not miss these shows. I'm here today. I'm going to Arizona tomorrow. Next week after that, I'm going to be in Africa. So 2 weeks from today, I will be doing this show live from West Africa, from this little obscure country called Sierra Leone. It's going to be really dope. I'm not sure how we're going to make it work, but I'm going to make it work. I'm going to be there every single week. The reason I'm so passionate about this, everyone always asks, bro, chill out, quit screaming, quit being so loud. Guys, the reason I'm so passionate is I truly believe this is the most slept on business model on the internet right now. Let me repeat that. I believe rank and rent digital real estate is the #1 most slept on business model on the internet right now. It is also the business model I have decided that I am going to put all my chips in, all of them. This is how I'm going to win the game. And it's how I am winning the game is I am using digital real estate as a vehicle to acquire cash. The cool part about it is it's assets. We're creating assets that pay us again and again and again. And a lot of people, they create their cash through being a real estate agent, or from, whatever it is. Maybe they have a little mom and pop business, and then they take that money and they put it into assets. But the dope part about this business is you're actually creating assets as part of the business. Okay. So anyway, we're going to get into it. If this is your first time ever, there's so much content on my channel. I made a post yesterday on my Instagram. Last spring, we decided to start this channel. And I'd already created the channel, but I hadn't posted a single video. And last spring, we're like, hey, let's start putting out some content. And I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what I was going to share. I didn't know, anything other than I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to doing a video a day. And here we are. We have over 400 videos on this channel. It's still a relatively small channel, but if you look at how active you guys are, how many comments, how much you guys watch these videos, which I thank you for doing. I don't care about the top line number, because at the end of the day, it's about the intent that you guys have of being here. If you guys are here to learn this business model, that's what I care about. So I don't need 1 million subscribers. I don't. I need a couple thousand of you that are serious about this, that are going to watch the YouTube. Then they're going to go into the Facebook group. Then you guys are going to go on the Instagram channel and the TikTok, and you're going to go on the Facebook Lives. And eventually you'll probably join us inside of I was going to say the cult, but we'll call it the cult, Digital Landlords. Okay. Which is my program. But here's what's dope. I have a ton of people that just from my free content in my Facebook group, on my YouTube channel, have made money, have made thousands of dollars, have done deals, have started their digital real estate journey. And that is the whole purpose. Okay. So with that said, I said this a couple weeks ago. If there's ever a topic that you would like me to cover, please drop it in the comments. I am very, very active in the comments. I make sure that not only do we respond to all the comments, unless it's spam, and still, if it's spam, we'll probably report it. But on top of that, we take notes. And I actually pay somebody to go through the comments to make sure that there's not something that's urgent. So if you guys have a topic or a question or something related to digital real estate that you would like covered in a future episode, please help me and everybody else out. Comment on this video or one of the other videos and say, hey, Nick, what do you think about covering this? Or what is your opinion of this? And if I've already covered it, I'll just share the video. If I haven't, we'll do an episode. Okay. This is the most slept on business model on the internet, bar freaking none. Okay. And if you guys go and you're like, dude, I wonder what his Instagram is. Okay. My personal Instagram, you guys will find it. Just type in my name. It's I am Nick Wood. But if you go and you look at my links and stuff, my Instagram for this business model it's at digital drug dealing. No spaces. Okay. And yes, I'm making a little plug, but I want to prove a point here. Why do I have that as my handle? Why did I choose digital drug dealing? Well, I truly feel like, because I've watched all the shows on cartels and cocaine and all these different crazy things. And the only thing that I can honestly compare this to is that the margins are ridiculous, y'all. The margins, once you guys sell these deals and you get the sites ranked, you are going to see that there are deals you're going to make 90+% margin from these deals. And find me another industry that does all the things that this does and has margins as dope. You know, it's funny. I always talk about the great part about this business model and the scalability and the assets and make money while you sleep and I never talk about the margins. And the margins are the best part. The margins are freaking ridiculous. Okay. It's scalable. There's so many things about it. That's why I get so excited. And more than anything, for me, what this has done for me is this has taken me from somebody who used to be tied to their job. I used to only make money when I was out knocking doors, when I was out in the heat, when I was asking people to buy my crap, when I was selling home security systems for another company. Great job, learned a lot of stuff. but I was only ever making money when I was working. And that is a broken formula. If you guys right now, I don't care if you own a business, I don't care if you're a salesperson, I don't care if you're a 9-to-5. If you only make money when you are physically working or mentally, if you actually have to do work to make your money and it is tied together, you are part of a broken formula and it will not end well, period. It will not end well, okay? So what I am telling you is this is a business model where you can separate your time from your money. And the only way that you can actually get rich is by separating your time and your money. And if I had Naval's book right here, which I don't know where it's at, Naval Ravikant has a dope book and he talks, and if you guys have read his Twitter storm, just Google Naval Twitter storm. Go read the points that he makes about getting rich. And he says it, you will never get rich trading your time for dollars. You have to own a piece of a business or an asset or multiple assets. I know I completely botched that, but that's essentially what he said. This is your chance. This is the cool part about this business model. And I know I wasn't planning on ranting so much about how dope this is, guys. And I didn't invent the business model. I didn't. This is a business model that's been around for way too long for the amount of people that actually know about it. And that's why I'm on top of the freaking roof screaming about it, because it's such a hidden gem. We're in this little teeny corner of the internet, and it is a freaking gem. Okay. But all that to say, this is a business model that has got me out of $60,000 in debt, has allowed me to go from being a door-to-door salesman who had to move with his family and knock doors from 2 p.m. till dark every single day for 5 months in a row to pay the bills. Okay. Which it did pay well. I went from that to going in debt because I started a company where I thought I was going to be a software assassin and create this software company that's going to sell for millions. It didn't. Just spoiler alert. Another story for another day. That landed me $60,000 in debt. And this has allowed me to pay off the debt, buy a new home, put in a pool, buy the car that I wanted to buy real estate, commercial. I'm under contract for residential property, have a lot of money in the bank, and be in a position where I am ready. And by the way, when I say a lot, that's relative to who you compare it to, but compared to what I was used to, it's a lot. Okay. I'm not trying to pretend like I'm I have tens of millions of dollars in the bank. I don't yet, but I have enough where right now with what we're about to go into and the writing's on the wall with this whole recession, I am in a position to get very, very wealthy if I'm not an idiot and I play my moves right and I play my chips right. And so that is, my friends, is why I'm so excited about this business model, because that is what it's done for me. Okay. So really quickly, let me see who we got on real quick. I'm going to try and be a little bit more engaged in the comments, because I noticed last week I just went. And I got done. I was like, oh my gosh, I am tired. So let me see what we got here. I recognize a couple people. Uzair, what's going on? Ron, what's up? Kurt says, I also served in Africa. Kurt, hit me up, bro. I would love to know where. Oh, he says right there, dude, I got to start reading. Zambia by South Africa. Hit me up, bro. We got to connect. That's dope. Hannah says, what are some of the best niches that are good for winter? Great question. Hannah, if you could hold on to that question, hold it and ask it again at the end when I'm actually going into that. I just wanted to make sure we're missing anything, but please remind me. I will answer that question at the end. Okay. So that said, I have to bring something up really quick, and then we're going to talk about cities. I'm going to talk about cities I've made millions of dollars in, what I look for in cities, tips to picking cities. It's the second part of the formula we started last week, which was what are the right niches to go into. But it's not just about the niche, y'all. It's also about the city. You have to have the right city and the right niche in order for this to work. Okay. And I've made all the mistakes. I've gone into all the wrong cities, and I'm going to give you all those tips. So hang with me, but I have to say this. Okay. It's going to be brief. We've been talking about this for anybody that's over the age of 16 that's listening to this or that will listen to this. We've been talking about this for a long time, right? Things have been too good for too long. And we keep saying, oh man, there's a recession coming. Oh man, something's got to change. Oh, there's going to be a correction. Oh, this, oh, that. We keep talking about all the stuff, right? And we've said it and we've said it and we've said it, but we've been living this really comfortable lifestyle. And I'm right there with you. Like I've been saying it, but I'm like, I've been living really comfortably. We've had great interest rates. Things have been relatively easy, right? And honestly, making money has not been difficult. It hasn't. It has been very simple up until now. And why do I know that? Because I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and I've made a lot of money, and I know I haven't done everything right. I know I haven't hustled like I need to hustle. And this is what happened, okay? Friday, this is like 3 days ago. I had like tons of stuff I needed to do. I got my freaking butt out of bed, went to the gym at like 6 a.m., which I haven't been doing recently. And I was just about to get in the shower. This is just a couple days ago. And I got a call from one of my clients, okay? This is a client that I sell concrete leads to, a client that I've sold concrete leads to for over a year, okay? Now listen to me, this is really important, okay? And this client calls me, and I always have my phone on mute, right? Because I don't want to get distracted. And so I would highly recommend you guys do that. I put it on focus mode, and if you really need to get a hold of me, you'll figure out a way. Okay, the only one that can get through is my wife and a couple of people in my company that's urgent, okay? Anyway, I get this call. I don't answer it because I didn't see it. And I get a text, and I didn't have this number saved. Come to find out it was their business number. But the text said, actually, you know what? I'm going to read it to you guys. Hold on. This is going to be important. Okay, this is on Friday. I get the following text. Let's see. It's Friday morning. Where are we at? I think I saved the number. That's why I'm not seeing it. Okay. Hopefully I can find this really quick. Nope, not seeing it. Let's see. I really would like to read this exactly as it came in because it's going to prove the point. Okay. Yeah, here it is. Here's a text. 7:31 a.m. This is what I get. I have no idea who this is. I didn't know because the number wasn't saved because it was the business line, not their cell phone. They say, I need you to call me. It is important that I talk with you. That's all I get. I don't know if it's a client. I don't know what it is. And of course I got that. I'm like, I got to call this person. So I got my shirt off. I'm about to jump in the shower. I'm running around helping my wife get kids breakfast. And I answer this call. And it's a client that has been so low maintenance, so easy, so good. And by the way, we produce freaking results for this client. This isn't some whatever, right? This isn't some crap bogus thing I'm selling them. And the client says to me, hey, and he just goes off. He's like, this, you know, blah, 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 blah. We're not, ultimately, he said all these different things about, there's a couple of leads coming in that were, you know, they're asking for ready-made concrete, or they're asking for concrete, but they don't want concrete poured. And, oh, then there's this and there's this. And then he said what I knew he was getting at the whole time. And he said at the very end, he says, I am just, what was the word he said? He said, I got to tighten things up. I got to tighten things up. Okay. Now, why is that so important? Why does that matter? Guys, I've been producing the same results for this client for over a year. Okay. No different. We've been producing a lot of leads, giving them they made a lot of money from our leads. Okay. And this client felt the need, and we talk to this client regularly. We're doing a good job for this client. This client felt the need to call me and let me know that they need to tighten up. And all I can say, because it's hard for me to describe, and some of you guys are going to be like, where are you going with this? Here's where I'm going with this. What I felt, the conversation I had on Friday with this gentleman was eerily similar to March of 2020. You guys remember the week? I know all of you did. Some of you guys are all going to have your story of, oh, I remember where I was and all this thing. I remember exactly what happened. There was a specific day, first part of March, and I get a call from one of my clients. This is an SEO client at the time because I didn't have all my stuff on lead gen, okay? And quite frankly, if this would have been an SEO client, I guarantee he would have canceled on Friday. But I got the call, first part of March, and they said the exact same thing. Got to tighten up. Got to tighten up. Got to get things tightened up. Except for they canceled, okay? And all I can say is that by that conversation, I felt it was eerily similar to March of 2020. And I will tell you that, and many of you know because you were in businesses or maybe you were in your job, whatever, that that was right before things got very, very scary. Now, the good part was of 2020, and this is what made me excited at the same time, is I know how 2020 played out. That call woke me up. That call I got the second week in March of 2020, it woke me up. I had the conversation with my wife. I told her, I'm going to be working. I'm going to be hustling. I am getting very, very serious about this because I don't know what's going to happen. I didn't have money in the bank. I didn't know. Okay. It was eerily similar. And why am I saying that? Well, I'm saying that because, guys, everybody can feel it, man. Everybody can feel it. And I have, just like many of you, have the mortgage buddies and the real estate buddies and the title buddies, and they're telling me what their numbers are, and their numbers are half of what they were a couple months ago. Okay. And those people that are hopeful that the interest rates are going to be, oh yeah, they're going to be down first part of the year. Bullshit. They're going to be down. I hope they are, but we all know that ain't going to happen. Okay. This isn't going to get better. This isn't, and I'm not a doomsdayer. I'm actually excited. Okay. But the reason that I'm saying this, guys, is I'm telling you, it's kind of like, let me get to that in a second. Okay. I personally could not be more thrilled with what's about to happen. But Friday, I had a wake-up call, and it was eerily similar to what happened in March of 2020. And I got on the phone with my team, and I'm having a meeting today, okay, with my team. Every single person that gets paid, that's on my payroll, that is part of my company or companies, we are having an internal meeting today about what is about to go down and about how serious we need to get. And I'm here to tell you guys that some of us are about to get handsomely wealthy with what's about to happen, because we are going to double down. We're going to triple down. We're going to quadruple down. We're going to get to work. We're going to put the hobbies aside. We're going to put all the shiny objects, 17 businesses, and we're going to get to work on one thing. And the rest of y'all are about to experience pain you have never felt. Okay. And I'm not saying that in a doomsday way. I'm saying that there's an opportunity here. Okay. There's an opportunity here, but I'm telling you right now, okay, and this is what I want to say. This is like the most important thing, is there are some of you, okay, and I'm telling you guys, this is just a gut feeling. There are some of you right now that are about to, those of you that, not all of you, but there are some of you that are about to lose your jobs. Okay, there are some of you that are about to lose that safe, secure, that reason why you haven't jumped into this, because you've had that paycheck that's paid you $6,000 or $8,000 and you've been good. Those of you that have jumped on the phone with me to take the next step and to go forward, that will watch this later tonight or this week, that are like, yeah, I make 10 grand a month and I'm just comfortable where I'm at. Y'all are about to see what's going to happen. Okay, get ready for it. And that safe, secure job, it ain't going to be so safe and secure here in a couple weeks or a couple months. And it's exacerbated because of the time of year, right? We are going into the holidays. We're going into a time where people are like, oh my gosh, I got Christmas. I got to go buy presents. We got to travel. We got the holidays. And so it's creating this perfect storm. Okay. And guys, I have been screaming. I'm not just coming on this is my 6th episode of this show, but I have been screaming about this business model for over a year. I've personally been doing it for 6 years, but I've been screaming about it inside of my Facebook group for over a year, for people to get involved, to start doing deals because of what's going to happen and what is happening right freaking now. So for those of you that have been dabbling, for those of you that have been pissing around and looky-looing as some of these business owners, you that are tire kickers, that are not taking this seriously, you guys are about to get pushed out, okay? And why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because unlike real estate, unlike some of these other, like e-com and these other things, you can start today. If you started today and you actually went all in today and you're like, I'm going to do this today, some of you guys could make money by the end of the month. And it's November 21st. You could make money by the end. Crazier things have happened. I've seen a handful of people make money in the first week working with me. Okay. First week jumping into this business model. So why am I bringing this up? I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to let you guys know that if you guys, there is still time. Jump in, get going, start building digital real estate, because that job that you think is so secure, I just hope it's in a good industry and your boss has the freaking flow to keep you on when things aren't as good. Okay, because I know I'm talking to my buddies that are in some of these real estate niches, and they got money to get them a few months. But when it comes down to it, they can't keep paying people forever when they're not making the kind of money that they hired those people to help them sustain. Okay, so for those of us who are willing and ready to hustle our asses off, this recession is going to make us freaking wealthy. And for everybody else, it's going to get very, very ugly. Okay, so I just want to point that out. And for those of you that are already in it, I just want to, it's a word of caution. If you think that what you've been doing with your clients, this goes for me too, the one call every quarter, the one call every 6 months, the one call a year, that's been so nice. If you think that's going to retain your clients that are new or that don't trust you or that don't have a ton of flow and a ton of money coming in, you're wrong. And it's time to start doing double the work. This is how I'm approaching things, period. With those that are in my program, with those that are in my Facebook group, with you on my YouTube, with my clients that I actually sell leads to. I am, not only am I ready, but I'm also willing to do double the work that I've been doing for the exact same amount of money. Okay. Because I know that if I will do that over a period of time, I will keep every single client that I have, and they will tell everybody, they will tell their friends about it, and it will continue to grow even though things are about to get scary. So I'm having a meeting today with my internal team that it's time to get ready for things to get ugly. And I'm not getting rid of people that are showing me that that they're willing to hustle, they're willing to put in the hours. Okay. I had a conversation with my project manager this morning, and I said, we can't offer the same service we've been offering for 3 years and expect to make the same money we've been making. It's been great. It's been a fun ride. That time is over. Okay. It's time to create way more value than we've been creating, to provide a way better service than we've been providing, and be okay with, even though you're doing the extra work, making the same money. Okay. Because that's just what this is, the reality. And I'm so excited because in 2020, I didn't know what it looked like. I did not know that if I went to work and I put aside the hobbies and I got a very singular focus, I didn't know it would be my best year ever. I didn't know that, but it was. So I have the confidence that, and I know that if I go to work and I get everybody on the same vision and on the same team and on the same, goals and agendas within my organization, we are not only going to survive, we're going to thrive. We're going to get very, very wealthy. And I just want to give you guys a warning, and I want to say it here first for the record about what I believe is going to go down. And this is from all the things I've been seeing, but mostly from the phone call I got on Friday, that once again, and the word I like to use is it was eerily similar to the feeling I had and the conversations I had in the first part of March of 2020. Totally different beast. Now, hopefully, if you guys remember in 2020, there was all this pent up buying demand, whatever, and then people went bananas and it was great. Guess what? They ain't cutting stimmies this time, man. Those stimmies are gone. Everybody went and they spent them on their cruises and their vacations and everything else, and they didn't invest them. Okay. That money ain't coming this time. So I'm ready for it to get ugly. I'm excited for it to get ugly because every time somebody goes out of business, I'm there to scoop it up. And for those of you that do go out of business that want to sell your websites, hit me up. Okay. I'm kidding, but I'm not. Just want to put that plug in there. Okay. Guys, let's talk about niches. Let's talk about picking the right city. Let's talk about cities that I have made millions of dollars. As always, I will never give you any advice or any instruction or anything if I haven't done it first. And if I haven't and you ask my opinion, I will give you my opinion, but I will give you a word of caution and say, hey, I haven't done that niche. Hey, I haven't done that city. Hey, I haven't done this. I haven't done that. Here's what I think. Okay. But anything that I speak on, any advice that I give is going to come from firsthand experience, including what I just said. including, hey, get ready for this to get ugly because I'm getting ready to put in twice the hours and I'm okay making the exact same amount of money because I know when this is all said and done, I'm going to be standing and I'm going to be rich. This is going to be, the next couple of years is going to be my window to get handsomely freaking rich. And it could be the same for you if you're willing. Okay. But we got to put away the 17 different businesses that you're dabbling with, the this and the that and the rest and your MLM thing and all these different things that you're doing. And you need to get focused on one thing. And if it's this, great. If it's not, great. Okay. But get focused on one thing because it's about to get wild. It's about to get Western, as I like to say. Last week, we talked about niches. We talked about what is a good niche. And I want to do a quick recap on what constitutes a good niche. So here's the criteria. If you didn't watch last week, I highly recommend we talk about the riches are in the boring niches. Everybody thinks the riches are in the sexy niches. The niches nobody's ever thought of. Sorry, guys. Got the allergies rolling this morning. Everybody thinks the money is in the sexy niches. All these niches that, you know, that nobody's thought of, or that are just these really cool and just fun and to brag about, you know, all that. I have made my money in the boring niches. Okay. Here's my criteria. And one of them, let me give you a spoiler alert before I go into them, is not that it has to be a sexy niche. I don't care. I don't care how boring it is. I don't care how dull it is, because you know what's not boring is getting that Stripe notification that I made another couple $1,000 and I haven't even done any work this morning, or I'm on vacation in Scottsdale and I'm golfing and I just made $3,000, or I'm on a plane ride to Africa and I made $10,000. That's sexy. So I don't care what niche it's in. I don't care. You know, you guys remember Mike Rowe, the dirty jobs guy? That guy had it figured out, man. He's like, dude, there's people out here that are doing dumpster cleaning that are making millions and millions of dollars. Meanwhile, we got people that want to, you know, buy their coffee and sit at Starbucks and they're broke. Okay. There's nothing wrong with doing both. But here's the criteria for picking a niche, okay? The criteria for choosing the right niche. And I'm just going to quickly review, because that entire episode 5, talked about that. And I think it was the riches are in the boring niches. So number one criteria, just really quick recap, then we're going to talk about cities. Number one criteria is it needs to be high ticket, okay? It needs to be either high ticket or almost 100% profit margin. Okay, so let me give you an example. High ticket would be, I would consider concrete high ticket, right? 2,000 and up, right? Now there's those teeny little jobs, but we're talking like average job 2,000 and up. Okay, that would be a high ticket, right? A low ticket with a high margin would be a duct cleaning, right? Duct cleaning, $500, $700, maybe $1,000, maybe a couple $1,000 if it's commercial. Let me get some water. But it's not, you know, $20,000 typically. However, the margins on duct cleaning are sick, man. They are like 99%, right? 95%. You just have to pay for labor. And if you're a one-man band or you're selling to a one-man band, they're making a high margin on those, okay? So I don't mind a duct cleaning because of that. I would rather choose the concrete, but the duct cleaning also fits the bill. So number one is high ticket or almost 100% profit, okay? Number two, it is not a storefront, and therefore it is a phone-driven business, meaning when you call this, when you are getting this service, you have them come to your home to give you a quote, or to your business, right? Like concrete. I don't know about you guys, but I've never gone to somebody's house that pours concrete and looked at some of the work they've done because they have a showroom with pictures. Never, ever, ever have I done that. Every single time when I extended my pool deck, I called a bunch of companies, okay? And I said, hey, I need a quote. That's it. They came to my house. I didn't care what truck they drove. I didn't care when they showered last. I didn't care about their education. I cared that I got a good price and they seemed trustworthy to me and they knocked it out. Those are the niches where we can make loads of freaking money. So no storefront. Now, again, there's always going to be exceptions to these rules. So for those 3 of you that are going to watch this and disagree with me, I know, but I'm speaking with broad strokes here. Okay. Number 3, you want to go into niches that do not have brand loyalty. The more brand loyalty there is, the harder it's going to be. Why? Because we are building websites that are of a generic nature, that we own, we control, that we sell the leads off of. We don't use the business and their brand to advertise. We use a generic website. We use a unbranded website. So for example, okay, if you were trying to generate leads for let's say a med spa, would this business model work? Well, first of all, I don't know if there's any legal whatever, so I would check in that. But number two, yes, in theory, it would work, and you would probably get some leads. But think about it, guys. If you're going to get injected with Botox, or you're going to go get some little microsurgery or something that's going to affect your lips or your face or your nose or something like that, that people are going to see that you're very self-conscious about, aren't you going to check the reviews? Aren't you going to ask for a referral? Aren't you going to want to go to somebody that's not going to screw it up? And therefore, you are going to look at an unbranded site and go, that's kind of weird. I've never heard of this company, right? The more branded it is, the more brand loyalty, the harder it is to generate leads, okay? One of the reasons why I believe assisted living, which I tried to generate leads in assisted living, we did generate leads because, again, you can generate leads in any niche with this business model. But there are levels to how successful you'll be. I generated leads with home security systems. I did. And actually, I sent them to a guy that closed a couple deals. But it wasn't such that I could do it month in and month out and make the numbers work, okay? I've made way more money in concrete and tree service and duct cleaning than I ever made in assisted living, than I ever made in, I'm trying to think of some other branded niches. We did one for solar, home security systems, okay? Even though those are more sexy, okay? No brand loyalty. And one thing you're going to find out is the bigger the margins, okay, there can be niches that are too high of margin. And what I mean by that is when you get into companies like roofing companies and solar companies where they make a ton of money, what happens is they make so much money, they have the money to pay for the marketing and the signs and the trucks and all this in the storefronts and the ads and the TV and the radio. And now we become branded. And now it becomes more and more difficult to generate those leads. So I do not like anything that is has brand loyalty. I like unbranded niches. And lastly, okay, and this goes to Hannah. Shout out to Hannah. Her question about niches that do well in the winter. Okay, every niche is going to be seasonal to some degree. Okay, every single day, I don't care what you're doing, there's going to be some seasonality. There's going to be times it does better, times it does worse. It's just part of the game. So we just want to look for niches that are the least seasonal as possible. Okay, and that also includes cities, because you can go into concrete in Minnesota, or you can go to concrete in freaking not Baton Rouge, let's say Tallahassee, Florida. I'd way rather do the Tallahassee if everything else matches up because of the weather, right? So everything's going to be seasonal. What you need to look at is what are the ones that are not super seasonal, and how do I pick markets, and that's what we're talking about today, that are not super seasonal. Okay. Helps to live in one. I live in a market that is not super seasonal. It does not snow here, at least maybe once every 10 years. It's still cold to me, but it's not as seasonal as some of these places. Okay. So let's get into cities. Let's talk about cities where we can make all the money. Okay. And I want to go back in 2016, all the way to 2019, a little story time for you guys. Okay. I tried everything I could to make this thing go. And by this thing, I'm talking about this business, okay? I tried all the niches. And last week, if you want to watch that episode, I went through a list of probably 20 to 25 niches, and I kept adding to it as the episode went on, that I have personally lost money in, or I'm still in it. Because if I'm making money, I'm still doing it. And if I lost money, I'm out, okay? I tried all the niches, okay? Of course, not all, but I tried a lot of niches. I tried a lot of cities. Okay. I mean, I tried so many different things, and I tried all these different sales. I tried so many things from 2016 to 2019, and I just couldn't get it to move. I couldn't get it to budge. Okay. And this is a really important point. So listen up. the programs, the courses, the people I was listening to at that time, I was following exactly what they were saying. They were saying, hey, if these are the kind of niches you want to look at. And I was like, oh, cool. They said it, so I'm going to use those. And they were saying, hey, if the city is this population, it's a good city. And I was like, cool. And I was like, okay, cool. They said this niche and this population, let's rip. And I made the mistake of not critically thinking about it, of not going, okay, Nick, okay. The people that I'm listening to, are they making their money from selling their course, or are they making their money from the actual thing that they're selling? Do they actually make money doing ranking them? Okay. And if they don't anymore, when they did, how much do they make? How big did they get? How big did they grow? And I found out when I started asking these questions, when I realized that these niches and cities that I was picking weren't working out, I was like, what's wrong? The training's solid. I've gotten some deals. And I started looking under the hood and I started asking people and like, oh yeah, so-and-so, their biggest month was 20K. 20K? I'm like, yo, I've been beating them for years, man. I've been beating them for years, right? I've been making this kind of money gross for years. What do you mean 20K? What do you mean 10K? And what I found out, and this is why you guys need to be so careful, and you need to trust nothing that I say and nothing that anybody says, and you need to test it out first, okay, is a lot of the people that sell programs, a lot of people that are coaching on this stuff, they've never made a freaking dollar doing this. And when I say never made a freaking dollar, they may have made a one deal, okay? And I can think of two people, literally two people right now. They're not people that you guys know. I'm certain of it because they've never really been in this niche. And they've heard me talking about this business model and getting excited about it. They know the kind of money that I've made in this business model. And these people, okay, are now selling a course on this business model. Okay, people that literally, and they themselves have not made any money. But they're like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. The business model is solid. I'm going to go sell a course. I don't want to put in the work to do the business model and actually make. I'm just going to go sell a course. Like I can think of two people. You don't know who they are because they're never going to get off the ground. But literally, I had a conversation on Friday and found out about somebody else who literally decided to just create a course because it sounds like a good business model. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you. And I hope you're watching this because you probably are, because you're probably watching all my videos and you're probably going to use it to go start. That's fine. Okay. But what I'm saying is be freaking careful, because I went and I took the advice of some freaking schmo that made 10 grand one time or two times or 3 months in a row and thought he was an expert, and then went on and made millions of dollars. And no one ever thought to ask, how much money did he make or did she make before they started doing the course? Yes, I get a little fired up about it because it pisses me off because I lost a lot of money. I tried out niches I never should have tried out. I tried out cities I never should have tried out because the person that was coaching me on it had never done it, had never made the mistakes, had never spent the millions of dollars in ads and in the niches to tell me what is good and what is bad. So I'm trying to make those mistakes for you and share them with you. And y'all haven't even paid me. Okay, this is free. Welcome to Making Hay with Dre. Let me get a drink of water and let's keep going. How do you guys feel about that? Okay. So I have a question for you as we get into this. How is it that I'm able in 2016, 17, 18, 19, not full-time because I did have this little hiatus where I chased another software business, but off and on. How is it that I was using the exact same niches then, tree service, concrete, insulation, duct cleaning, the exact same niches in those years as I did in 2020, 2021, and this year, 2022. And in those years, I made nothing, okay? I was just paying the bills. And in the last 3 years, I've made millions of dollars in the same niches. I'm going to cut you off and give you the answer. It's because I got freaking good at picking the city. And I stopped listening to people that told me the population matters. And I started critically thinking and go, who gives a fuck about the freaking population, man? Who cares about the population? Guys, think about this. I'm getting a little bit pissed off thinking about how much money I lost because the person that I learned from did not do this, did not have a good criteria for picking a city. I'm going to give you one, okay? Let me ask you this question. If I said to you, I will give you one of the following properties, and I'm talking about websites. I will give you either New York, like I'm talking about a city, New York artificial grass. You can either have that one, It's ranked on all the major keywords. Okay, you can have that one, and the population's ridiculous. Or I'm going to give you Queen Creek artificial grass. Y'all don't even know where that's at. That's a suburb of Phoenix. Which one would you choose? Well, it depends on what program you're listening to, whose advice you're taking. Are you taking the person who's never made a dollar from this, that's never made the mistake, or are you taking it from the person who's lost millions of dollars and made millions of dollars? Okay, I would take the Queen Creek, which is a tiny little like 30,000 town, all day over New York. Why? Because it doesn't freaking matter. Population, that's the number one point I want to get into. Population does not freaking matter with this, okay? And I'm about to blow your mind because some of you guys have been like, oh, I need to be 100,000 or 200. Guys, it doesn't matter. It does not matter how many people live in a city. It matters how many people in that city want that thing. You guys following what I'm saying? People in downtown New York City live in apartments and skyscrapers, and they're dope. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on it. They just do, okay? There's not huge yards. People in Queen Creek, Arizona, they have yards. They have the pool, and they have the turf. They want the artificial grass. And even though there's only 30,000 people, I would way rather take that city over New York. So stop worrying about population. So number one tip when picking a city, population does not matter. So what does? Demand, AKA search volume. What matters is not how many people live in the city, but how many people need that thing and that therefore are searching for that thing. And I have made money. This is another thing that pisses me off. For years and years and years, literally until 2019, when I finally started using my brain and I started asking the tough questions and I started realizing I'm getting information that's not complete, okay? I live in a little city called St. George, Utah. Okay. There's like 200,000 or less people here. Okay. At the time, though, there was less. It's grown significantly since COVID. I avoided this city like the plague. I was laughing at people that were trying to build websites in this city. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Nobody needs concrete. This is too small. I avoided this city right here where I'm sitting right now like the freaking plague because of the advice I got from a program from somebody who didn't make any money doing this thing. They just made money selling the program. And finally, I pulled my head out and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to try it because there has to be. I need concrete. They need concrete. I need tree service. They need tree service. And I built a site. And it went bananas. It was super easy to rank. It was super easy to sell. I pre-sold all the stuff I do now. And this is what's so crazy. On top of that, I've had the lowest turnover in this city. And right now, given the month, because I do have some times where I have to replace clients, I make anywhere between $12,000 and $15,000 per month in this little tiny city that I live in of 200,000 population that I avoided for years and years and years because all I could think about was population, population, population. Okay. Meanwhile, since then, I've gone into cities that are so small. There's a little tiny, I don't even want to share that city. I actually shouldn't share that city because, well, I'm going to share that city because I'm whatever. Okay. There's another little city. You guys are going to get blown away. And go ahead, go Google these cities, okay? Go look up a city called Cedar City, okay? I used to live in this little college town. It's so small. This city I live in is like Vegas compared to Cedar City, okay? Tiny little city. It's cold. Not as much money as there is here. Guys, I am telling you right now, I have 2 deals right now. I'm making a couple $1,000 from a couple of deals in a city. I never thought I would even think about that city. And now those are my favorite cities. Okay. So tip number 1, Population does not freaking matter. Okay. So, and by the way, guys, I'm going to give you some broad stroke. I'm going to use that term, some broad stroke tips. In fairness to those that are in my Digital Landlords program that have paid the fee to be inside of the cult, that have paid to be and get the blueprint. I'm not going to, use the training that I use in there that I'm on YouTube. Doesn't make any sense. But I am going to give you guys some tips. I'm going to give you guys some things to think about, some things that you need to really, really consider when you're picking a city. Okay. So number one is population does not matter. Okay. Search volume and demand does. Okay. Number two, this is something I never even thought about until I started using my brain. I started getting scientific. Thank goodness for 2020, because I started just getting down in the mud. And that's what helped me discover some of those things. CPC, for those of you who have no idea what that is, cost per click does matter. Okay. It does for a lot of reasons. And I'm going to tell you the number one reason is because typically competition and a high CPC have a very strong correlation. I'm going to leave it at that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go, when this gets posted, go rewind it and watch it about 10 times and listen to what I said. Okay. Well, let me say it one more time. High CPC and high competition, as far as SEO goes, usually have a high correlation. Okay. And there's many other reasons why CPC matters. But if you guys are going into a city and going into, well, let's say you're picking concrete and you're choosing a city and you're not looking at the CPC, you are out of your mind. You are out of your living mind. And even if you don't plan on running ads and you just want to do organic, I'm cool with that. It still matters. It still matters. And especially if you're running ads, does it matter? Okay. So my second tip, cost per click does matter. And I've said this publicly. I've said this in my Facebook group. I say this all the time. So I will say this. My rule of thumb, I have spent $1.25+ million. I don't know the exact number right this second, but it's over that number. Okay. I know that. And my average CPC has been under $5. I think it's like $4.23, over $1.25 million. So spoiler alert, make sure your CPC is under $5. Okay. Moving along. Number three tip when picking a city to make millions of dollars in. When you're figuring out how competitive that city is, and guys, it matters. And for those of you that are new, if you're going to pre-sell the site, right? You're going to build a one-page website, you're going to run ads, you're going to use those leads to sell it, and then you're going to go build the site. Don't you think it's a good idea to look and see, okay, once I land that deal, how hard is it going to be for me to rank the website? Don't you think that's a good idea to look at? Okay, good. And I know a lot of you guys already know that. But when you're looking at, is it a good idea? Is it competitive? Is it not? Speaking as far as SEO goes. Again, back to the programs and the courses I bought. These programs and these courses, and they were multiple, okay? Not any one person to blame. They told me to look at one keyword. So for example, hey, look and see when you type in concrete Las Vegas, NV, how competitive is it? What companies are ranking for that term? Okay, that's what I thought you did. And guess what? Sometimes the keyword that I decided, let's say I chose concrete contractors, Las Vegas, Nevada. I looked it up and it was real. That specific keyword, for whatever reason, was not super competitive. And so I assumed because one keyword wasn't competitive, that the whole thing was not competitive. And therefore went and built hundreds of websites in cities I had no business being in. Okay. No interest in being in, to be honest. But I didn't know that. I built the website. 6 months later, I'm doing all the stuff I'm supposed to. Things not ranking. What the heck? What's going on? And I start looking back and I go, that site, I never should have built a website in that city and that niche. It's super competitive. So what I want to tell you guys, my third tip is the keywords when you're looking at how competitive that city is and in relation to that niche, the keywords you use to find how competitive that is do matter. Okay. The keywords, let me repeat that. The keywords that you are using to determine if that city is competitive, they do matter. And if you have not built your keyword list and you have not figured out what people are searching for, and you have not figured out what are the terms that you want to rank for, and how many people are searching for those terms in that city, before you go look at how competitive it is, you are going to literally be just rolling the dice. Okay. You're like, okay, I'm putting $50 on black or 5,000, but in this case, thousands of dollars on black. Hopefully it works. Okay. The keywords matter. And I know you're like, what does that mean? If you want to go into, I talk more about this inside of the free Facebook group, inside the Discord channel. Obviously, we spell it out in Digital Landlords, but for the sake of time and for the sake of, I'm just giving you tips. Just know if you are going into a city without looking at what keywords you should be looking at, knowing what keywords that you want to rank for, and looking at how competitive those keywords are. And let me give you a little trick. It ain't some tool that you can just plug in the keywords and it's going to tell you how competitive. The tools don't work. The tools are only good for comparing things. Okay. So if you're like, yeah, I checked it, I put it in the tool and it said it wasn't competitive. Cool. Me too. And that's not true because those tools are whack. Okay. So it's not about plugging it into a tool. It's about knowing what you're doing. Okay. Keywords that you look at when you're deciding if a city is competitive do matter. And if you guys have noticed, how much time do I spend talking? Guys, we haven't even talked about generating the lead, selling the lead, all the fun stuff. Okay. We're getting through the minutia here. But guys, it is so crucial that you land these first few points. You have to go into a city. You have to go into a niche that fits the criteria. Number one, if you don't, you're dead. You then have to take that niche. You have to go into a city that fits the criteria. If you don't, you're dead. And we move on. Okay. That's why I spend so much time talking about it, because I've made so many mistakes. I've lost. I wish there was a way I could track how many dollars I've wasted because of not picking the right city or not picking the right niche, okay? Or not looking at the CPC or not looking at multiple keywords and knowing which keywords to look at and knowing why I should look at the keywords, okay? Here's my last tip. Then we're going to go to Q&A. Okay? Listen very carefully. This is when my mind, I had this belief. And I was completely shattered when I started going into my own hometown. Okay. And I want you guys to listen to this. Just because you see another lead generator in the city that you are looking at does not mean you shouldn't go into it. Okay. If you're doing your homework, you're looking at this city, let's say you're looking at Murfreesboro, Tennessee. You're like, oh, this looks good. It's low competition. And then one of the competitors, you're like, dude, that person's generating leads. I can tell it's a generic website. Everything looks similar. Maybe they're in Nick's program. Maybe they're another program, whatever. Maybe they're just doing another. Just because there's another lead generator in the city you want to go into does not mean that you shouldn't go into it. Okay. Doesn't mean you should, but I just want to give you that tip because I would have left thousands and probably hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table if every time I saw a lead generator, I just went to the next city. Okay. Now there is a time when if you see that, you should not go into it. But there's also a time when if you see that, it's not only not scary, but it's a good sign. Okay. So recap on my 4 tips. Number one, population does not matter. Search volume does. Number 2, cost per click does matter. Okay. Number 3, the keywords that you use to look at the competition also matter. And also maybe number 3B, if you think just plugging a city or a keyword into a tool is all you need to do, man, oh man, woo, you're going to be in for losing a lot of money. Okay. Those tools, they say, you look at the keyword and it's like easy. That has nothing to do with it. Like, I don't even look at those metrics. And I'm telling you that because one of you is going to go type it into SEMrush and go, oh, concrete Murfreesboro. And it's going to say easy. Oh, it's good to go. Has nothing. I don't even look at that stuff. Okay. I don't even look at that stuff. Tools are, I'll say this again. I've said this a million times. Tools are for comparing. That's it. That's it. That's all they'll ever be to me. Okay. I don't trust, I trust tools as far as I can throw them in their software. So I can't throw them. Okay. And lastly, number 4 is just because you see another lead generator does not mean you shouldn't go into that city. And it also doesn't mean that you should, but I'm just telling you that I know there's so many people, they see a lead generator, like, oh, everything looks good, but there's another guy, there's another girl, they already beat me to it. So let's keep looking. Let's look at a few other things. And I go into that more obviously in detail with inside the Facebook group and inside my program, everything else. So guys, I love to know the why behind stuff. Okay. I love when I say something, I want to tell you in fact, I was just shooting some new modules for the Digital Landlords program. Like we just literally last week, not last week, the week before, we just shot 4 more modules. Okay. All on top of what I'm already giving them. This doesn't cost any more, just adding value. Right. And I was shooting them with somebody else. And I said to them, I said, pause. You have to tell people why. If you just tell them to do something, but you don't tell them why, it doesn't matter. And I'm telling you guys, the reason why this matters is if you don't pick the right city, if you don't pick the city, and you're not thoughtful and you don't do your homework and you don't take your time picking the city, you're never going to win. It's never going to rank. And when I say never, you could rank anything, but I'm talking about you don't want to have to put 12, 14, 18, 24 months into ranking a website that's only going to yield $1,000 a month. I want to put 3 months, 4 months, max 6 months into ranking a website that's going to yield me $1,500, $2,000. That's what I'm looking for. And I've made the mistake, and I've been getting rid of websites, and it pains me. Literally, we got rid a couple months ago. We got rid of 125 websites I never should have built. That I've spent over $100,000 building, paying for hosting, paying for tracking numbers, building backlinks on, doing content, paying people to manage, paying VAs. Okay, doing Google My Business, over $100,000 that I just got rid of because I went, you know what? I'm emotionally attached to these sites because I've spent so much time, energy, and effort, but I'm never going to make money from them. They do not fit my criteria. And I have a criteria, and it's what I follow, and I'm very strict about it. And if it doesn't fit my criteria, I'm on to the next. And I feel like, I don't know if any of you guys are looking at real estate or interested in real estate, but as I'm starting to get into the physical real estate game, I look at some of these people and it's like, I can send them this like Zillow listing and they could tell me like, boom, no, I wouldn't do it because of X, Y, and Z. And they just know. And I'm always envious. And I'm like, how do they know that? It's because they've done it so many times and they've bought bad deals and they've lost money on deals because of this situation or this circumstance or this or that. And they just know. And I can look at stuff now and you could send me your homework and say, hey, here's Murfreesboro. And I can look at it in honestly probably 2 minutes and say, yep, or nope, or hey, we need to go a little further because I've done it. I have probably in my last 6 years, no exaggeration, not my team, me personally, I can easily say I have personally done over 500. I have done the analysis on over 500 cities. Okay. Personally. And by the way, I have somebody as of the last 3 years, 2.5 years, all they do is that for me. So I haven't done this for years. I have personally done over 500 analysis on 500 different cities or 500 different city niche combinations to learn the skill set that I have, to develop the formula that I have. And so I'm telling you guys, for some of you that have done it twice, or I had this guy the other day, he's like, dude, I did 10. I'm like, you did 10? Cool. Go do that 10, 50 more times, and then let's talk. Okay. But if you think you're going to have it mastered because you've done it once or twice or 5 or 10, I've done it 500 times personally. Okay. And probably double that with my team that I then took and they did the grunt work and they did all the research and I analyzed it. Okay. So the why behind all this is I'm trying to, if you notice these episodes, I'm trying to build a foundation here. Okay. At the beginning, it was like, hey, here's this opportunity. Here's why it's so dope. Here's why I'm into it. Right. And then I'm like, okay, now let's get in a little more practical. Now let's talk about picking a city. Let's talk about picking a niche. Now let's talk about picking a city. And I'm going to keep building and building and building. And again, my game is very simple. I'm going to create so much value for you that are watching live. By the way, thank you guys all for being on here, or those of you that will watch this. that every time you think of rank and rent, your buddy asks you, or your mom asks you, or your whatever asks you, like, yo, you need to get on this Facebook channel. Sorry, you need to subscribe to this YouTube channel. You need to be in this Facebook group. You need to be on this Discord channel. You need to follow this guy because he is the king of digital real estate. Okay. And so I'm playing the game here. I'm playing the long game. And by the way, you remember how I don't know, 20 minutes ago, I told you I'm willing to put in twice the work for the same pay, and that's why I'm going to win. That includes all my free stuff. So for anyone that's been enjoying my free stuff, get ready for that to be increased in value, increased in preparation, increased in everything, like delivery. Okay. I will guarantee you that I will be on this show every single week. And I don't care what I have. I don't care if I'm sick. I don't care where I'm at in the world. If I'm in the middle of a flight, I'll have to figure that out. That's going to have to be like a pre-recorded something or change the time, but I will be here because I'm going to deliver value, and I'm okay delivering twice the value and getting the same result because I know how this plays out, and it's going to allow me to win while everybody else fizzles out. Okay. So those are my tips, speaking from experience, not from theory. What questions do you guys have? Okay, let's go. Actually, I'm gonna go from the beginning. I'm gonna go from the most recent up, since they're gonna be the most relevant. Okay. Jen says, is there one tool you use more than others in relation to CPC? No, there's not. I mean, use Google. Whatever. This is my advice with tools. By the way, I don't have a tool. Like, I'm not selling a tool, so I'm not going to tell you, like, and there's no affiliate link for, oh, here, I don't do any of that. Okay. But my only thing is, whatever you use it and stick with it. Okay. Because if you're using one tool today, one tool tomorrow, it's never going to make sense. You need to pick a tool. You need to set a baseline. You need to use that over and over. Okay. Okay. Alan, would you choose if CPC $6 or you put a hard stop? Alan, if I had multiple deals, like if you had 5 deals already or 10 deals, then, and you're like, okay, it's $5.50, then what I would do is I would go for it, and I would make dang sure I charged at least $1,500 a month. Okay. If you have not gotten your first deal, or you've only gotten one deal, and you haven't gotten probably at least 3 to 5 deals, and it's over $5, walk away and go into something that's easier. Go into something where you can follow exactly what I'm saying. And by the way, guys, why would I tell you that if that's not what I'm doing? Okay. In fact, I'm going to try and find a screenshot. I am going to find a screenshot. I'm going to write that down right now. I'm going to find a screenshot of my Google ad account. Let me get a piece of paper here. Screenshot of my CPC and the amount I've spent, and I'm going to post it as a post on this YouTube channel so you can see what I'm talking about. You're going to see how much I've spent, and you're going to see what my average CPC has been over that spend. I know it's over $1.25 million. Okay. So I would say, if you haven't done a deal, no. If you've gotten 3 to 5, go for it. Just know you got to charge more money. Okay. Old Crow, is CPC under $1 junk or gold? Under $1. That's a good question, because when you first think about it, you're like, oh, that's gold, right? But in my experience, when it gets too low, it's like, I just don't know if it's worth it. Like, here's the sweet spot. It's got to be under $5, but if you can find something in that $2 to $3 range, sometimes you can find like the $1 to $2. But that $2 to $3 range is where I always, whenever I find that $2 to $3, this is just intuition. It seems like those are just freaking bangers, man. So that's hard for me to say. Here's what I will say. And I'm calling you Old Crow, but that's because that's your name. And I know who you are. But I'll just keep it private. Old Crow. Call you Old Crow. Yeah, so that would be my advice there. But here's what I'd also have you consider. If it's that cheap, what's the harm in testing it out? Right? $1 a click, 50 cents a click. Go spend $50, dude. Your downside is $50. Your upside is $1,000 a month deal for 10 years. I'll spend the $50. You don't want to do it? Send it to me. I'll go run it, but I'm doing the deal. Okay. Greg, hit me up when possible. Greg, my man, shoot me Facebook message if you wouldn't mind, dude. That'll be much quicker. And it's probably going to be tonight because I got a lot, like I'm trying to nail stuff down today, but I will get to it. I promise. Okay. I'll keep a note for it. Okay. Greg says some of the cities qualify for one keyword, but zero. Yeah, I would say as long as you have, let's say, one or two keywords that are decent. And when I say decent, they're going to generate, then I think you're okay. But they need to be like they need to be the main keywords, like the concrete and the concrete contractor, not some really weird, obscure word. Okay. Okay. Let's see. If Annie says, I don't know if I said that. If Yanni says, I'm in Chandler, Arizona, dude, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in Scottsdale tomorrow, all week. Okay. Let's see. Jay says, AZ has way more space for grass, 100%. Okay. All right. I'm going to go to the newer stuff here. Let's see. Mr. Donald, great sales pitch. How much does your program cost? McDonald, I don't know if you've been on any of my other calls, but just first of all, it's application only. And secondly, just finding the application is going to be a chore. So if you can find the application and you can apply, then you'll find me and we can talk. But I don't pitch it. Like I don't just throw it out there. Oh, link my applications in the link. No, because if this is your first video, if this is the very first time you've heard me or discovered me, unless you've consumed a ton of my content, you're not ready for my program. You're just not, because I expect certain things of people. By the way, just so everybody knows, I said this in the free Facebook group a couple weeks ago. If you're just looking to make $500, like side hustle, whatever, I'm not your guy. If you come into my space, I expect you to have a mentality of like, we're getting to 10K or bust. Like 10K is where we start. And I've spent the last couple months developing a system and developing an entire, map of the second somebody enters my space to how I can get them to 10K. So anyway, Mr. Donald, that's your answer. Okay. It's only application. And if that is your first time discovering, you're not even ready for it anyway. And so even if I was dropping price, if like you would use it one way or another as a reason why not to join. Okay. So that's why I don't do it. Okay. And I've changed it. It's changed 3 times. Good question though. Caesar, what do you think of boiler repair? Never done it. So what I would ask, I've never done it. I don't know anything about it. I would look at the CP. I'd go back to my criteria. Look at the CPC, right? Go through all the criteria that I gave at the beginning of this call, but make sure, or sorry, CPC, but I meant the ticket size. Okay. Make sure there's enough juice to be worth a squeeze. Okay. Maxwell says, you said to not be scared to continue if another digital real estate in the city you are targeting, since the idea is to steal their traffic on Google. So Maxwell's asking, because I said, if you see another lead generator, how do you know whether it's, you should go into it or not? And my high level answer is, if the city still, okay, let me say it like this. If you didn't know that was a lead generator and you just thought it was a random business owner, would you still go into it? If the answer is yes, do it. Just because they're a lead generator shouldn't change anything. Okay, that's my answer. Aaron, when you go to create a smart ad in Google, is the estimated number of clicks a month accurate? No, it's not. I don't even look at that stuff, Aaron. Good question, though. Caesar, having a hard time getting leads for concrete in the Northeast. Yeah, I can imagine, dude. It's freaking cold everywhere. At least I'm saying that because it's supposed to be warm here and it's in the 30s and I'm pissed off. And I can't wait because I'm going to go to Scottsdale next week and I'm going to be in Africa. So we're going 70s and then we're going to the 90s, dog. So I'm getting out of this crap. And by the way, I feel like every year I'm like, I'm moving. So if anybody has any properties that they want to sell and want to unload in some warmer states or some warmer countries, let me know because I'm in the market. Okay. And I mean that, by the way. Okay, Jen, how do you come up with a complete list of keywords so you stay under the $5? I have run Google ads that my keywords were under $5, but customer searches show more than $5. Yeah, that's a really good question. And Jen, you're asking really, really good questions. That is a question that I could not answer in one sentence. I have, just to put it in perspective, that is part of my course. And I have an entire, I think it's a 20-minute video that just is dedicated to, and it's before you pick your net, before you pick your city, getting your keyword list dialed in. So only thing I could say, maybe I'll give you a tip or two. Make sure that you don't just look at the most highly searched terms. Also use your brain and think, is this somebody that I would want as a customer? So for example, do I want to rank for the term or bid on the term cheap tree service near me, cheap concrete near me? If I was the business owner, would I want that person calling me? Or is that just going to be a tire kicker? And I think you know the answer to that. So that's a couple tips I could give you. That's just, I could do an entire, I mean, I do have an entire training on it. So good, great question though. Okay. Old Crow. If CPC is greater than 0 but less than $1, is it a good? I would try it, dude. I think you missed I would go for it because, and my theory is I would guess that it's going to work. Okay. The only thing I'm thinking, if it's that cheap, the leads might not be as valuable in that area. And it might be tough to find a business owner because they're getting so many, like, just organically. But again, it's just intuition from doing this at that cost though, bro. Go run it, dude. Go spend $50. You're going to get almost 50 clicks, or you're going to get over 50 clicks for $50. That's a good use of $50 to $100. Okay. Okay. Cameron says, is there supposed to be a paid course or something? I watch most of your videos, but you never show a tutorial. Yeah, there is a paid course. It's called Digital Landlords in the bottom left-hand of my screen. The application's in my different Discord. It's on my land. If you go to, digitallandlords.com. If you go to my Facebook group, you're going to find it. Guys, you'll eventually get there. Okay. Like if you're somebody, this is my theory. Okay. And I might be losing business by doing this, but my theory is this. If you're ready to do this for real, you are going to figure out how to find it. You're going to figure out whether you're going to find me on Facebook and DM me, whether you're going to find my link. And so I don't go out of my way to put it in all my descriptions. I don't. Okay. And so I've had people that have discovered me within 24 hours. They're in my paid program. And I've had people that have been on this channel. They've been in my Facebook group and they've been on my other stuff for 9 months. Okay. They're not ready yet. All I would say is just make sure you don't miss your window. Okay. And I'm okay with that because I'm not doing this for a week or a month or 2 months or a year. I'm doing this forever. So, Cameron, if right now you're like, dude, I got to start making some freaking dough right now. I don't have time to go figure all this stuff out on my own and piece this together. And it's going to take 12, 24 months. It took Nick 6 years. Oh my goodness. Cool. Let's go make you some money. I got the blueprint. Okay. But I'm not here to jam it down people's throat because I'm not in the business of convincing. I'm not. I am not in the business of convincing. The older that I get, the more I do sales, the more I realize it's not about selling everybody. It's not about even selling. It's about finding people who are a good fit. Okay. And I don't have an outbound team. We don't do outbound. We don't. And I tell people before they jump on a call, I say, if you're not sold on the business model, I ain't doing a call with you. My team isn't doing a call. So, and I think there's some lessons to be learned with your business, whatever your business is. And if you're selling leads, same thing, right? You need to go and you need to let these people know. Luckily for me, this is an awesome business model. People are looking how to make money. And so you guys can kind of discover me from YouTube and stuff like that. With our business owners, we have to reach out to them, right? Because they don't know. They just think that there's Home Advisor and there's Angie's List, right? Or whatever, or Google Ads. So we have to reach out to them. But then we play this game of let them come to us. And again, that's a whole sales technique where I let them come to me. I have control. I have leverage. He who cares the least has all the control, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, there's some steps to it. Great question though. Kendrick, what's up, dog? Jim says, how do you come up with a negative keyword list to avoid paying? I don't do negative keyword lists. And I know that doesn't make sense, but for time's sake, I don't do negative keyword lists. I know you're going to go, what? Nope, never done one. Okay, so Old Crow, run it, dude. 35 cents, run that thing. You're going to get, for $50, you're going to get 150 clicks. What's your risk? Go run it. Last question I'm going to do real quick says, how much site traffic is a good amount to generate enough leads? I don't even look at that. I don't track the metrics. I don't like, guys, I make a lot of money doing this and I do a lot of things wrong, but here's what I know is there are certain things that I've been doing for years and years and years. And the only way I can speak on them is from experience, because I'm not some, like, I don't nerd out on all that stuff. What I am good at is I am good at waking up in the morning, okay, picking up the phone and smartly, now I'm not stupid about it, but smartly making calls to people that can give me money and figuring out how to employ people and hire people that can also do that for me. I'm just good at asking for money. Okay. And I've made it a habit. I've made it a muscle. And maybe I can end here. Is if you guys are not, when my business started to explode, yes, there's so many little factors, but like when I actually started to see it consistently grow, I had this epiphany. There's a video that I shared on this channel back in March. I remember I shot it. I was in Mexico. I was on a resort. When everything changed for me is the moment I realized that, hey, Nick, if you treated asking people for money and doing a sales pitch the same way you treat eating food and sleeping and going to the gym, your business, your bank account would be so freaking sick, would be so muscular, would be so dope. But you don't. You're sitting there, and I never miss the gym, right? Because I have a standard of what I want my body to look like and all these different things. So I always go. If there's not time, I figure out a way to make time. And the moment I realized, hey, let's just apply that to making money. I've made it a rule. I have to make money every single day. New money, not old money. I'm already going to make recurring money, but if I make new money every single day, and I do that every day, 5 to 6 days a week, and I do that for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and I got a business that's recurring money, that you are going to see exponential growth. And then if I can find people who I can train to also bring in new money, and I bring in new money, and we all bring in new money, and the recurring money keeps recurring, I think you see what's going on. And that is how I've been able to do what I've been able to do. Okay. So guys, amazing questions. Thank you guys for being on. I know there's a lot of things you guys could be doing on a Monday morning, but I appreciate you guys being on here. And I want you guys to know, all of you that are watching this now or will watch this, I'm in the lab, man. I like where I was in 2020, my mindset of cut the bullshit, cut the hobbies, cut the this, cut the that, get laser focused. That's where I'm at right now. Okay. And you're going to see a completely different angle of me, a different side of me, a side I wish I had documented back in 2020 because it made me a lot of money. But it's time, man. We've been talking about it for years. It is here. It is here. And I know I've been waiting. I've been putting away cash. I've been waiting. And it is time. I can play golf next year. I can chase that another business opportunity next year. The next 24 months is my time to make as much money as I can with digital real estate and as much and go buy as many properties as I can. This is where I'm going to get rich. And if you guys want to follow my lead, you can do the same. All right, guys, I'm out.